You're watching LewDix Aviation, which means you've tuned into the most fun and most informative flying channel on YouTube. My channel is a safe haven for you to find tips, tricks and advice on how to fly and have a great time doing it. Before we fly, I need to tell you that my videos are edited for entertainment purposes only. Many procedures, situations, explanations and flight phases have been edited out, which may remove context, and as such, this video is not an instructional video. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the sky. The Discovery flight. Quite possibly the first time someone's ever been in a light aircraft and the first time they've ever been behind the controls.
When you did hop in a Cessna in '96, was it to do flight training or was it just a Discovery flight?
No, I was 12. So
It's a magical flight of, well, discovery. It's becoming a pilot what you want to do.
I'm used to seeing satellite imagery and aerial imagery at this lower altitude. You're like, well, that doesn't quite look the same.
Right.
So you're trying to like do the math in your head, like, all right, that's where I'm at. Navigation's definitely a little bit different.
It is.
We all have different reasons that we want to fly, but being up in an aircraft is different than just dreaming about it. And the Discovery flight makes that dream a reality.
Nice though. You know, you got good intuition as far as wanting to go for the trim, adding a little bit of power, taking a bit of power away when you need it. Like, it's good intuition, man.
Good, good.
Unfortunately though, in this day and age, at many flight schools, Discovery flights have become a glorified sightseeing tour, where the focus is more on them discovering the depth of your wallet rather than you discovering if you want to become a pilot. With me, however, things are different. I treat the Discovery flight like it's a first lesson, showing everything I can to show the dreamers how different things work.
No, we could come up here and just let you look out the window and see the cool sights, but that doesn't really get you into what flight training is. So the top of these pedals are the brakes. The bottom, not the brakes. Push left to go left, push right to go right. Have fun, enjoy yourself. Get a feel for it, man. The first test on this Discovery flight is to see if you can come to a full stop over there equally. So equal pressure on both brakes. So this is a nice little taxi speed. If, let's say you were going too slow, let's say you just add a little bit of power and then relieve the power back to about 1,000 RPM. This is your RPM gauge here. And you're kind of just coasting, basically. But what you're doing is really nice. You'll feel it's a little bit weird at first, but see if you can come to a full stop and keep us on this line. So come to a stop now.
I'm pushing as hard as
it's yeah, sorry, it's the top of the pedals.
Oh, okay.
It's all the way at the top, yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, they're good if you get
hey, that's a good brake test. Hey, we needed
it. There we go. Now we know where they are.
Not everything's going to be perfect on a Discovery flight, but it doesn't have to be. The instructor is there to instruct and keep you safe, but give you an actual experience in how to operate the aircraft. Many people, for example, have never taxied an aircraft before, which is why I like to show them how it works. And there's usually a laugh that goes with it.
Weird, isn't it?
Don't touch the...
Exactly right. I was going to bring that up because I was like, this isn't doing a thing. You're going to come to a full stop.
9.4, squawk 5501.
All right.
It's fine.
Not quite on the center line.
That's okay. That's okay. Alright, we did that. We're gonna go flap set 0, make sure full rich.
Setting a good example is key for an instructor too. Don't get me wrong, I've been guilty of not picking up a checklist when I should have before, but my brand new LewDix Aviation checklists make it so easy to go through. They're bright, colourful and easy to follow, and the best checklist I've ever created and used. They're available at LewDixAviation.com, and I've got a variety of different aircraft for you to choose from, each created with procedures from the POHs of the various aircraft and flows that I've tested since becoming a CFI in 2016. They work. Get yours now, the link's in the description.
When we're on the runway, I want you to kind of put the inputs in to try and keep this thing on the centre line of the runway as you're rolling down.
Yep.
You're going to have your left hand here and right hand on the throttle. You're going to go nice and smooth full throttle, and this thing is going to roll down the runway. Once your airspeed comes up, and you can either look here or here, and hits around 55, we're going to pull back slightly on the controls, and this thing is going to come airborne.
Rotate.
And then we want to increase the speed to about 73 knots, which I'll give you instruction as we go. But that's going to be the plan. You're going to do the takeoff, man.
Sounds good. Is it full throttle once we...
It's full throttle, yeah, and that throttle's going to remain full for the climb.
Runway 7, clear to land number 2. Sky 734, Mike Golf, fly runway heading for now, runway 7, Alpha 7, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway headings, 7 Alpha 7, 734 Mike Golf. Perfect, man. Alright, here we go. So, right hand on the throttle, my friend, left hand on the yoke. As we gain more airspeed rolling down the runway, you're going to have more authority with this. Give me a nice left turn onto the runway, hit the centre line, perfect, brother.
Sky 296, runway 7,
level
middle
up.
number 3.
Perfect. All right, full power, nice and smoothly. Perfect. All the way in, all the way in.
Now.
There you go. Perfect, brother.
Sky 294, you'll be
See how much control it requires on the ground for that.
They're just midfield now.
Nice, not bad, not bad. 55, rotate. Here we go. A little bit more pull back, a little bit more. There you go. Welcome to the sky, brother. You just took off. So what you're doing there, good intuition. You want to keep those wings level. And you're actually perfectly now on the centre line of the runway as we climb out. Glorious. Raise that nose just a little bit. There you go. Perfect, man. You're doing it.
Nice.
Easy money. And you're actually climbing at a good airspeed. When you lower the nose, speed increases. When you raise it, speed decreases.
Alright.
How do you feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Now that's an experience that Jonathan will never forget. But we're just getting started. His next task is to try and level off.
What are we climbing to?
We're going to climb to 1,000.
For Mike Golf, you can begin your left turn westbound now.
Stand by. Alright, left turn westbound, 74 Mike Golf, thanks. Alright, we're going to make a left turn out. So just this, what you've got here going on here with the bank, this is a perfect bank. Keep it at this. And we're going to climb to 1,400 feet.
You can make a right downwind departure at or below 800.
Beautiful. You're going to bring it all the way around to actually that heading right there.
Alright.
And in fact, level the wings as far as the bank is concerned right there.
I see we overshot our...
Yeah, a little bit. I've moved it on you though. That's more me than you. I always tell my students that I'm terrible at vectoring, which is why I was never dropping control.
It's the hardest thing ever.
Cool, man. So we're 100 feet from our target altitude. So to level off, what we're going to do is you're going to push the nose down, and you see the horizon?
Yep.
Push it down till the horizon is quite a distance from this, just like that. And then you're going to pull this power, pull it back a little bit.
Bring down to about 1,700 or so.
Bring it about to 22.
Full stop, taxi back for now. 7 clear to land.
Yeah, right around there is fine. Alright, cool.
Clear to land, runway 7.
You have a set flight path you take?
Not really. I mean,
770,
same kind of general vicinity, but not really one set thing. You're feeling a lot of pressure on this to keep the nose down, right?
636, left
not too much right this moment, but I'm also to slowly be climbing a little bit. So trying to...
Nice kind of small inputs. Anything too big is going to be up and down, up and down. That's the last thing we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to use trim actually. If you take your hands off, see what the nose does. Ever so slightly rising.
Yep.
So you're going to want to hold this nose down and trim that nose down a little bit until you don't have to put any pressures in to keep this thing here. Whatever it takes. You know, unless it's like perfectly smooth, you're never going to be able to go fully hands off. You'll have to put little small inputs here and there. Just push it down a little bit. If we go above 1,600, we're in an airspace layer that we don't want to be in, so just make sure that we're keeping it down.
Alright, so I think it's pretty trimmed out.
Thanks, good.
For my golf, remain BFR outside of the Bravo.
Creep it down a little bit. Come back down to about 1,000.
That's perfect. Outside the Bravo, pre-exchange proof, see you shortly. Oh my god. Great work, man.
For the instructors out there watching this, notice how even though we're close to a Bravo airspace layer, I use my words to instruct Jonathan what to do to avoid it.
Just push it down a little bit.
My hand is there ready to step in if needed, but Jonathan's doing the controlling. That's called giving instructions, and as instructor is in our title, that's what we should all be doing. Unless you're on the edge of disaster, let the student do the work. They'll get a lot more out of it as a result.
Basically, what a first flight lesson looks like is basically getting to grips with the controls of the aircraft and the techniques. So climbs, descents, turns, kind of the simple stuff that lays the foundation for everything else. If you don't have a good foundation of being able to keep it level, being able to trim, there's no point moving on to anything else until you've got that down. This is why I like doing it on discovery flights, because we could come up here and just let you look out the window and see the cool sights, but that doesn't really get you into what flight training is, which I believe is what a discovery flight serves to do. But if you kind of look at the instruments, you've got an ever so slight descent rate going, and that's just because if you look at the horizon, the nose was pointed down a little bit too much. Your horizon is your best friend. It's going to show you whether your nose is high, which is going to tell you that you're climbing, or nose low, descending. Also with the wings as well. You can see how you're oriented towards it. Same thing with the horizon out in the distance out on the wings. You can see where the wings are positioned in relation to it, see if a wing's high or low and stuff like that. Little things that kind of show you your attitude, and then obviously you can compare it to this which everybody stares at this when they're flying at first. Alright, we're going to climb up a little bit. So for a climb, you always want to climb at full power.
Okay.
So if you put full power in there, beautiful, and then you pitch the nose up a little bit, it's going to want to do that naturally. And there we go, we're climbing. See, as that nose rises, that airspeed drops a little bit, and this honestly is a really good airspeed to be climbing at. So, one thing I'll show you as well, you've got balls here, I'm sure you've heard of these. You've got left turning tendencies that want to take you to the left side, so when you climb you need a little bit of right rudder input.
Okay, I got you.
When you pitch the nose up, yeah, just like that, kind of try and keep the ball in the centre. You step on the ball, so what you're doing now is keeping that ball in the centre. Looking good, man, looking good. Where do you live?
Right over behind Disney.
Okay.
In a Winter Garden area.
Yeah. Cool.
If it's not far, we could swing by.
Yeah, go that way.
To find my house, bring it around. I'm used to seeing satellite imagery and aerial imagery. Like, I understand that very well. But even just at this lower altitude, you're like, well, that doesn't quite look the same.
Right.
So you're trying to like do the math in your head, like, all right, that's that one. Okay, I got it. That's where I'm at.
And depending on your altitude, like, you know, the lower you are, the worse the sight picture is.
Yeah.
So what we do, if you're getting lost or whatever, if you're not sure where you are, climb up so you get a better bird's eye view. Do some circling and kind of try and figure out where you are.
So you can see that this is a nice and relaxing discovery flight. We're chatting and having a good time, trying to find Jonathan's house, but eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed that the altitude is dropping continuously.
You noticed it. So you noticed that slowly over time we've been losing a little bit of altitude. I've been letting it go because I want you to see that. Like, it can creep up on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This being a first experience, and to show Jonathan that to be a pilot means to hold standards, I'm going to make sure he knows what's happening. This may not seem like much, but this small interaction and correction will hopefully stay with Jonathan. Even though I don't expect perfection on a discovery flight, and I'm constantly monitoring what's going on, I'm still there to give instruction where needed.
Nice though. You know, you got good intuition as far as wanting to go for the trim, adding a little bit of power, taking a bit of power away when you need it. Like, it's good intuition, man.
Good. I appreciate it. That's good to hear. Yeah, so my house is where the middle school is. There's the hospital.
Yep.
The middle school, the baseball field out there.
Yep.
Like the park. I'm right there to the right of those townhomes.
Nice.
Yeah. Your control?
Yeah, my control.
Get a picture of that.
Yeah, man.
My wife will dig that.
Cool, man. Alright, so we are going to descend to, let's do 1,800 feet.
Imagine we just keep power steady, reduce trim, and then nose down a little bit.
So I would keep the trim where it is. I'd reduce a little bit of power.
Okay.
And the nose is naturally going to want to descend. Pull it back. Yeah, other way.
The opposite.
Oh, exactly. So you just let it do exactly what you're doing now. This is a perfect descent. It's beautiful. While you're doing it, give me that heading. A beautiful descent, man. So this is pegged at 500 feet per minute. That's a perfect, beautiful descent. If there were passengers on board this aircraft, the coffee wouldn't be going flying everywhere. They'd be nice and comfortable.
That little coffee comment comes from my late granddad, who is the reason that I love aviation. Anytime I was at his house as a kid, we'd be on Flight Simulator, and whenever I'd yank and bank an Airbus Beluga or Boeing 747 or whatever aircraft, he'd always tell me that the passengers have just spilt the coffee. Little did he know, he was making me a better pilot.
If you can find the balance of like, all right, just add a little, take away a little, add a little, you can start to see your altitude like slow, it's creep, and then go the other way, and you're like, okay, right in there somewhere.
That's it, man. Like, you let it come to you. You know, you don't chase something, you set something and let it come to you.
Yeah, calculated and preemptive inputs. Like, I'm going to start putting it in now, bring it around, let it go.
Being proactive instead of reactive.
Undoing your turn before you get to it.
Yep. Trust me, it happens more than you think. You'll tell a student to do something and then they'll bring it out. It's like, do it again, and they'll bring it out, do it again. They undo all the hard work that they've done.
Right.
But, you know, we all go through it, and you have to go through those things to progress. You know, you got to see what you do wrong and fix it.
Absolutely.
I think that's a big thing. What I like to highlight is you have to make mistakes, and you, as a CFI, you've got to let people make mistakes.
100%.
You know, And there are times in training where, you know, the student might scare themselves a little bit with what they do.
Yeah.
But better them doing that with me than being on their own, you know?
I'd rather scare the shit out of myself with an instructor than being on a solo and be like,
yeah, exactly, right? Exactly.
What do I do now?
You use those experiences of the shit that you did wrong to then know how to do it right. It's
370 Tango Charlie.
good, man. It's a good process.
So there you have a discovery flight, the way it should be done. With me, it's a healthy mix of fun and learning to really discover if the student wants to dive into flight training. There's no use sitting in an aircraft while an instructor does most of the work. My advice to any prospective students is if a flight school's scamming you with a sightseeing tour disguised as a discovery flight, don't go to that flight school. Your time and money is much more important to you than it is to them. Before we land, I'd like to thank you for watching and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to get your LewDix Aviation checklist from LewDixAviation.com, and if you want to support in other ways, you can join my Patreon to gain access to exclusive videos and other perks. Just make sure you read what tier gives you the perks you desire. You can also use my discount code LewDix to purchase some Flying Eye sunglasses. That'll save you 10% on glasses made by pilots for pilots. Thanks for watching, and don't judge my landing too harshly.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and trim the nose so I can go kind of hands off and let the thing go down towards the runway. It seems like it's doing it on its own actually, so looks like it's pretty decent.
About a 500.
Yeah, about 500 feet. Yeah, you don't want to be, you know, if you're dipping down to the ground like that, you know, that's
you can feel that not being right.
100%. 20 degrees of flaps.
Roger, I'll call you, but thank you for the heads up.
500.
You see how I'm keeping the nose down to the runway, and that's where it's going to look the whole time. If you keep that, you're going to be golden. A lot of students like to, at first when they're landing, to bring that nose up way too high, and it just slows the speed down, and you're running the risk of a stop.
Starts dropping.
Exactly. Well, here we go. I'm looking for between 60 and 65, which I've got my airspeed, so we're absolutely fine with that.
Beautiful day for it.
Airport gets busy, man. Alright, I got my speed, don't need to look at it anymore, so I'm going to pull the power to idle, and then I'm just going to control everything with pitch here.
Okay.
Bringing it in, and you want to land on the mains, so you just kind of hold it off until it wants to come to the runway, and then there we go.
4 Mike Golf, Echo or Alpha 6 if you got it, and ground point 4.
Echo over ground, thanks for the help, 4 Mike Golf.
2000,
well, man,
10 minutes after departure.
All in all, I think a pretty successful discovery flight.
Yeah, that was great.
And squawk.